This is a red card that should have ended a 2026 World Cup run. Instead, it lasted less than 4 days. Folarin Balogun stepped on the back of an opponent's leg. The referee looked at the replay. He pulled out red. Under FIFA's own rules, that meant an automatic one-match ban. No appeal, no exceptions. The same rule that's applied to every red card in this tournament. Balogun's World Cup, at least for one game, was over. Then on Sunday morning, less than 24 hours before kickoff against Belgium, FIFA reversed course. Not overturned the card, suspended the punishment. A one-year probation, and Balogun was back in the squad. Players found out on a 10-minute bus ride to training. Belgium found out from a press release. And within hours, the question wasn't just, how did this happen? It was why. Rewind to the round of 32. The U.S. is up against Bosnia-Herzegovina, cruising to a 2-0 win, and Balogun has already scored to open the scoring. Then, in the second half, VAR flags a challenge. Balogun's foot catches the back of Tarek Muharemovic's leg. Muharemovic, who plays his club football for Schalke in Germany, went down hard. And on review, the referee shows red. There's no real argument that it was violent. Balogun himself said afterward that he thought a yellow would have been the fair call. But intent has never been the deciding factor for a red card. The officials ruled it a serious foul play under Article 66.4 of FIFA's disciplinary code, and that comes with an automatic ban for the next match, no matter who you are or how big the game is. That's supposed to be the end of it. Red cards at a World Cup aren't eligible for appeal. The U.S. Soccer Federation said as much. The team's fate was in the hands of FIFA's disciplinary committee, full stop. Except 4 days later, that committee did something it doesn't usually do. Citing Article 27 of its own disciplinary code, a clause that allows sanctions to be suspended for a probationary period, FIFA declared Balogun's ban suspended for 1 year. Not erased, not overturned. Just paused indefinitely, right when it mattered. So why now? Why this player and why this fast? Reporting from the New York Times says the answer starts at the White House. According to that reporting, President Trump personally called FIFA President Gianni Infantino in the days after the red card, pushing him to review the decision. Days later, the ban was suspended. Trump didn't stay quiet about it either. He posted publicly, thanking FIFA for doing what was right and calling the original red card a great injustice. Now, to be fair to FIFA, they didn't cite any of that in their official statement. The league pointed only to Article 27 of the disciplinary code, the same clause, it turns out, that's been used before. But the optics are hard to ignore. A sitting U.S. president reportedly picks up the phone, and within days, the governing body of world soccer reverses a decision it told everyone was final. Belgian broadcaster VRT put it bluntly, reporting that Belgium believes political interference from the White House was a major factor in FIFA's decision. Whether or not that's provable, the perception alone is a problem for FIFA because it raises a much bigger question than one red card. And Belgium's federation didn't stop there. According to multiple reports, they've consulted legal counsel and are exploring whether to escalate the matter to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, the CAS, which serves as the independent appellate body above FIFA in international football. Whether that path goes anywhere before kickoff is another question entirely, but the fact that it's being discussed tells you how seriously Belgium is taking this. Here's the thing. Balogun isn't actually the first player this has happened to at this tournament. He's just the most public one.
Back in November, before the World Cup even started, FIFA deferred the final 2 games of a 3-match ban for Cristiano Ronaldo, stemming from a red card against Ireland in qualifying. That deferral meant Ronaldo was free to play in Portugal's World Cup opener instead of sitting out.
Then in April, 2 more players got the same treatment. Argentine defender Nicolas Otamendi, who plays his club football for Benfica, and Chelsea's Moises Caicedo, the Ecuadorian midfielder, both had 1-game bans from red cards in qualifying deferred, clearing them to play in their team's World Cup openers too. So by the time Balogun's ban got suspended, FIFA had already used this exact mechanism 3 times this cycle, every single time, for a star player, right before a tournament match that mattered. That's what makes this bigger than one controversial foul. If FIFA is willing to quietly waive its own automatic suspension rule whenever the player is famous enough and the stakes are high enough, then the rule isn't really automatic anymore. It's discretionary, and discretionary enforcement, applied selectively, is exactly the kind of thing that erodes trust in a governing body, especially one already fighting off accusations that this World Cup bends the rules for whoever has the most leverage. If FIFA thought this would go quietly, Belgium made sure it wouldn't. The Royal Belgian Football Association released a statement calling itself astonished by the decision. They went further than that too, pointing out that FIFA's own competition regulations for this World Cup state, in black and white, that a red card results in an automatic suspension for the next match. In other words, Belgium's argument isn't just this is unfair, it's this appears to directly contradict FIFA's own rulebook. Belgian newspapers reported the team was scrambling. Head coach Rudy Garcia had built his entire game plan around a U.S. side without its top scorer. Now, with less than a day's notice, he had to prepare for a completely different opponent. The Belgian Federation said it was investigating all potential options, legal or otherwise, and that conversation about CAS is part of why. Though most reporting suggests there's little realistic path to reversing FIFA's decision before kickoff. Meanwhile, on the other side, the mood was the opposite of astonished. USMNT players said they found out through social media before U.S. Soccer even confirmed it. Christian Pulisic called it a big boost. Weston McKennie reportedly shouted welcome back as training started. Fans had spent days pushing Free Balo as a rallying cry and got their wish less than 24 hours before the biggest match of the tournament so far. And the stakes of that match carry some history. The last time these two sides met at a World Cup was Brazil 2014, the round of 16, where Belgium won 2-1 after extra time, with Tim Howard making 16 saves in a performance that became one of the most iconic keeper displays in American soccer history. The U.S. has never reached a World Cup quarterfinal since that South Korea 2002 run. This match for the Americans isn't just a knockout game. It's the ghost of every exit that came after. Two completely different reactions to the same piece of paper. And that gap between a team celebrating and a team calling foul on the rulebook itself is exactly why this story isn't just a footnote. It's a preview of the argument this tournament is going to keep having. So where does this leave the tournament? Balogun plays Belgium. That part is settled, but the precedent isn't. FIFA has now used its suspended sanction clause 4 times in one World Cup cycle. Ronaldo, Otamendi, Caicedo, and now Balogun. And every single time, it's benefited a star player on a contending team right before a match that mattered. Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe FIFA genuinely believes each case deserved individual review. But at some point, a pattern stops looking like an exception and starts looking like a policy, one FIFA has never actually admitted to having. And that's the real story here. Not whether one red card was fair or unfair on a football pitch. It's whether the rules of the biggest tournament on earth bend for whoever has the loudest phone call. Because if they do, then every team left in this 2026 World Cup has to start asking the same question Belgium is asking right now. Is the rulebook actually the rulebook? Or is it just a suggestion until someone important enough decides otherwise?